New 72 Radio, the voice, views, and visions of the collective.
Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Mary Burger, and I am the owner of a business called ComputerDiva. Thank you so much for tuning in to Diva Talk tonight. We broadcast live every other Thursday evening at 7 p.m. through New 72 Media on the Zoom platform. So ComputerDiva has been around for 8 or 9 years, 2008, about 8.5 years. And we have two different business models to serve our clients with. Our first business model is a break-fix model, meaning your computer breaks, I fix it. The second business model is what we call managed services, and I have branded that under the name of Diva Care. For a small monthly fee, I put a ComputerDiva agent on your computer that provides you with your antivirus software, including weekly virus and malware scans. And we do basically a Diva tune-up every week. We clean out all the temp files. We update up to 111 different pieces of third-party software. We defrag your hard drives. We manage the alerts that are on your system. So if something happens with your system and it throws out an alert, I get an email. And we also include free phone support for that computer for any maintenance-related items. And I've been known to be very liberal about that. I care very deeply about my clients, and if they call with a question and it doesn't take too long to answer, I'll just include that under Diva Care. So it's just a small monthly fee, $33 per month per computer. So that is what my business is all about. You can get more information about Diva Care by going to www.divacare.biz. Okay, for a minute there, I thought my mic was off, but I'm glad it's not. Okay, I just had to check. So I am also a huge believer in universal life force energy, and I work with the angelic realm. I have 4 different guardian angels with me at all times. Archangel Michael is the main guardian angel who hangs with me. He is the angel you pray to or work with if your electronics are malfunctioning. Archangel Arya, who is also a healer of technology. She's very present on every job. We also have the goddess Athena. She's one of my guardian angels. And my recently discovered 4th guardian angel, her name is Rachel, and she is the guardian of my emotions. So I also have a spirit guide named Jackie, and I partner with all of them whenever I encounter challenging technology problems. So a little bit of a twist to a computer repair shop. Probably won't find too many people out there that kind of have that twist to it. So it's kind of fun for me. You can connect with ComputerDiva at www.computerdiva.biz. Our YouTube channel is simply ComputerDiva. You can reach us on Instagram at ComputerDivaMJB. And you can reach me on Facebook at ComputerDiva WA, which stands for Washington State. We are located in Vancouver, Washington. Basic info on how you can watch and tune into this show. The live stream is at www.new72radio.com and click on the link for Diva Talk. You can call in via your cell phone. We have 2 numbers that you can call into, 415-762-9988 or 646-568-7788. The meeting number is 590-101-489 #. You can also connect in through the Zoom app on your smartphone or tablet, and the meeting number is the same, 590-101-489. If you are logged into the show and you are watching live, there's also a chat room where you can talk amongst yourselves, and there's also a raise hand button, and you can use this if you have a question for me. Diva Talk is produced by the wonderful, fabulous, and marvelous Kelly Lair at New 72 Media. Kelly is in the background of every show, making sure all of our technology works flawlessly. Thank you, Kelly. So I don't start Diva Talk without lighting my technology candle. I've got one lit right over there, and I've got another one that's unlit. This is it. Don't know if you can see it here. Here we go. So this is my technology candle, and I developed this earlier this year to basically keep lit around your technology, to create a kind of a calm and soothing environment around your technology. The candles are made from soy wax, and they contain lavender, sage, rose petals, sodalite, and black obsidian. They, like I said, they were basically designed to create a soothing and calming environment around your technology. The candle itself is made by the talented candle maker Jamie Raley from The Art of a Wen, A-W-E-N. And she makes dozens of different types of candles. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, I've got an entire shelf back here full of Jamie's candles. And whenever I'm sitting at my desk working, I always have one candle lit. It's either a technology candle, it could be a sacred spaces candle, depending on the time of the month, it could be a new moon candle, a full moon candle. There's all sorts of candles, and they all have an intended purpose, and they're pretty cool. You can find Jamie Raley on her Etsy store under The Art of a Wen. The artwork, if you can kind of see it here, this artwork here, this is artwork of Archangel Michael, and it was done by Catherine Delaney of Color Splashes, and she is a friend of mine here in Vancouver, Washington. Very, very talented. So she did the artwork for me, and so thank you for that. The actual label of the candle was designed by my producer, Kelly Lair. She did a fabulous job with it, so thank you, Kelly. And the candle comes with this little card here, where it's got a little saying here, and on the back it shows the ingredients, and then there's a blessing that you can read when you light the candle. That blessing could not have been possible without the collaborative effort and the talent of my friend Cinda Lansway. So Cinda, thank you very much for that. So these are on sale in my Etsy shop, and the Etsy shop is called Emily May, E-M-I-L-E-E-M-A-E. So you can look that up if you want any. My inventory is almost depleted. It's time for me to contact Jamie and say, let's make another batch of candles. So anyway, and I actually had an endorsement for this candle. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to read the endorsement for you. It's from one of my customers, a technology customer. And she says, I love, love, love these candles. They really work. I am an intuitive and spiritual healer and work with my clients via Skype or Hangouts. If my candle is burning nearby, there are no disruptions. I also have issues with electronics in general. But once I light my candle, everything works just as it should. These candles have helped me make peace with electronics, and I am forever grateful. Wonderful product. I highly recommend it. Stacy. So, and Stacy, truly, being one of my technology clients, she truly, truly does have issues with technology. And so she buys these candles 2 or 3 at a time. So, and she burns them frequently. And if it helps her make peace with her technology, that's fabulous. If any of you out there need to make peace with your technology, you might want to think about picking up a candle. So it has been almost a month since I've done an episode of Diva Talk, and I'm going to kind of move around my screens here. So bear with me just a moment. It's been almost a month since my last episode of Diva Talk. I took 2 weeks off, because I had been out of town the weekend before, and it was such a highly emotionally charged weekend in a good way. And I came back and I just was totally unprepared to do a show, so I decided to skip it. And if you'll excuse me for just a moment, I have to open my door because my dog is whining on the other side. So hold on. Okay, come on. Sorry about that. Here she is. Okay, so where was I? Almost a month since I did Diva Talk, and so I am now back, and I have a lot to talk about on this show, and I'm going to pass on a lot of information. I will try and not speak too fast because I'm always guilty of doing that. So with that said, first thing I want to talk about, Windows 10. All right, so let's talk about Windows 10. So I swear in the past 2 or 3 weeks, Windows must have, or Microsoft must have released some sort of an update that had an adverse effect on computers. First of all, if you have Windows 10, you may have already been upgraded to the Anniversary Edition, which came out on August 3rd. The Anniversary Edition has some improvements over Windows 10, makes it a little bit easier to use, and has some pretty good security updates. But the whole premise of Microsoft and the way they do the updates has been problematic for a lot of people, a lot of my business clients in particular, where you have absolutely no control over Windows and their updates and when they do their updates. Now and then you might get a pop-up screen that says, oh, hey, we want to do an update. Are you ready now? Or do you want to, wait until this evening? Sometimes they give you that choice. Other times they don't. So for those times when they don't give you that choice, you may be in the middle of your workday and all of a sudden your computer decides, okay, it's time to update, and it updates. Putter's getting settled in back there. And it just updates. And this particular update takes hours and hours and hours to do. I had a client who actually, I think it started like on Friday night, and by Monday morning it still wasn't done. Obviously there was something wrong there. So it's been highly frustrating, highly frustrating. I have not actually updated my main production laptop to the Anniversary Edition yet. It's been blocked because of my version of antivirus software. She's whining in the corner. She wants her attention. Anyway, ignore the whine. I have not updated my production laptop yet. I just use it way too much, and I'm trying really hard to get to a weekend where I can do it and, kind of upgrade the antivirus software so I can do the upgrade. So anyway, I haven't gone there yet, but a lot of people don't have a choice. So I've had several cases in the past 2 weeks where this particular update has caused issues. So one of the first ones I had was, and it's in fact a laptop, you might be able to see it, I've got it back on this desk over here. And the laptop had actually done the update, but it kind of got halfway through it, and then it decided to just stall. And it probably stalled for about a week before the client called me and said, I don't know what to do, I need your help. So she brought the laptop to me, and I booted it up, and I was not able to get it to finish installing the updates. I keep this little thumb drive handy at all times. This is a Windows 10 thumb drive. It's bootable, and when you stick this in your computer and turn it on, it will boot up into a screen where you can either install Windows 10 or you have a lot of repair functions available to you. Those repair functions can include rolling the computer back, restoring it back to a previous date. You could do a refresh on Windows 10, which means totally reinstall Windows 10 but leave all your data intact. You can get out to the command prompt. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. And this has become invaluable to me. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to do my job right now. So, you know, my number one piece of equipment right now. So I ended up booting up her laptop with this thumb drive. And I tried doing a restore back to a previous date, knowing that it had been doing this for about a week. I actually tried to restore to some dates 2 or 3 weeks ago. It failed on all tries. And I finally had to shut down the laptop. And of course, it wouldn't boot into Windows at all. So I'm kind of dead in the water there. And I had to shut it down, pull out the battery, and I pulled out the hard drive. And with my special set of cables, I hooked the hard drive up to one of my utility laptops, took all the data off of it, actually made a copy of all the data onto my utility laptop, put the hard drive back in the laptop, booted it up with this little drive here. And I actually had to format the operating system partition. Luckily, with her laptop, it was really awesome. And I think I must have set this up for her at some point in time, where the operating system was on one partition on the hard drive and the data was on a second partition. So I was able to format the operating system partition, which included the operating system and all software that she had installed. And I reinstalled Windows 10. It is now sitting back there, kind of waiting for me to put all the data back onto it, which I have on my utility laptop. I just have to move it over and then install whatever software she had. Luckily, I saw on her data drive that there was a copy of her Office software. I think she had Office 2013, but she had purchased it outright. So it's not an Office 365 subscription. So with all of that said, that was one instance. It's probably one of the worst ones I've had. Then I had yesterday, I had a tower computer for a client in Lake Oswego, and the update was installing, and same issue. It kind of stalled halfway through. I actually went and I booted it up with this and just did, I actually had to restore it back to a previous date. I restored it back to about a week ago because this started happening for her on Sunday. So I restored it back to about a week ago. And then we actually booted up into the desktop, and then I realized that things were running slow. The computer was like it was molasses. Everything took forever to run, and I thought, hard drive failure. I mean, that's your number one clue for hard drive failure, is when all of a sudden everything on your computer starts running super, super slow. So I booted it up, and it was an HP tower. HP, I think, HP tower. And it actually, when you're booting it up, if you tap on F9, the F9 key when it's booting up, it will go into a utility mode, and it will run utilities against all the hardware. And memory came out fine. I think the video test came out fine. The hard drive test failed. It couldn't even find the hard drive, which was really interesting because I was able to boot into Windows. It was just running really slow. So my comment to the customer was, look, you have two options. You can either replace the hard drive. I can go out and buy a new hard drive for you, put it in, and reload Windows, reload all your software, reload all your data, yada, yada, yada. Or I said, based on the fact that your computer is probably, she felt 3 years old, I think maybe 4, based on looking at the computer. I said, you can replace the computer, go out and buy a new one. I said, between the cost of the hard drive and the labor, I would rather see you take that money and put it into a new computer and have brand new technology, rather than give it to me to do all this labor. Knowing that she'll probably hire me to come out and possibly set up the computer, although I think she could do that herself, but definitely restore all her data back onto it. I did spend about an hour backing up her data. I booted up into my little utility drive here, went to the command prompt, and stretched way, way back in my memory bank from my DOS days, and pulled out my xcopy command, which is a DOS command that allows you to copy data, not only whatever's in the directory, but all the subfolders in there from source location to destination location. That information I had to pull out from like 1983, 1984. So anyway, I got that done, took a while to do, but about 2 hours later, all her data was backed up. She wasn't sure if it was backed up or not, so we just went ahead and did it anyway. So anyway, that was the second one. That was kind of a combination of a Windows 10 update gone bad, and then the combination of the bad hard drive kind of, made everything go wonky. The third one I had was also yesterday. It was actually the first job I worked on yesterday. And that was a laptop. Laptop's not too old, maybe a year. And the customer was all of a sudden presented with the Windows 10 update. All Anniversary Edition updates. Not the original install of Anniversary Edition, but one of the updates after it. That's the one that's causing issues. And so anyway, she had the spinning circle. It was the black screen with the spinning dots. And everybody's seen that who's on Windows 10, and it could be frustrating. So anyway, she brought it into her office and had one of the guys there look at it, and it booted up just fine for him. So she said, okay, all right, great. She took it home, would not boot. So she called me and said, hey, Mary, I'm always in their office on Wednesdays. And she said, hey, when you come in on Wednesday, can you take a look at this? So I did. And it booted up just fine for me. It was really interesting. It booted up just fine. And then it kind of finished doing the update. And after that, it booted up into Windows, and everything was functioning normally. So, of course, I made sure she had a good backup. I made sure everything was up to date correctly. Kind of did a once-over on the computer to make sure everything was functioning properly. This was kind of the interesting part. So got all that done, and she said, hey, while you're here, I have an issue with my iPhone. And so she, I said, what's the issue? And she said, well, I use, I think it was Pandora. She uses Pandora. She, does freelance work for a lot of different companies. So a lot of times she's working at night in these offices, and she's all alone. So she listens to music, and she says, Pandora will no longer play on my iPhone. I could see that it's playing the music, but no sound comes out. And she says, I have the same problem with YouTube. I play these videos and no sound comes out. And as she's standing there, she's going into Pandora, and of course, no sound. So she hands the phone to me, and I go into Pandora, and sound comes out just fine. I go into YouTube, and the sound comes out just fine. And I attribute that all to the fact that I keep myself surrounded with my Archangel Michael candle, and I carry the same crystal chips that are in this candle. I carry in my pocket in larger stones. I just have this this energy field around me that is calming and soothing. And there are days like yesterday where all I really have to do is touch technology and it starts working, which kind of brings up an important point here, and kind of a different subject for a technology show. But what I have found is that at times when your technology acts up, it's usually due to maybe the mood, what I would call the vibrational level of the client. They may be in a sour mood, and they're creating this negative energy field around their computers, which adversely affects your computers. So it's really important that you don't kick your computers to the curb and treat them like the ugly stepchild. That when you're sitting down to work on your computer, sit down with a positive attitude, and an attitude that the computer is going to work for you, and you kind of want to become a partner with the computer and have this positive energy field around you, and it will make all the difference in the world. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out. So that's kind of what happened to me in the past couple of weeks in terms of Windows 10. I'm sure more cases will come up where people have Windows 10 update issues, and I'm prepared to deal with them. But I kind of wanted to throw that out to all of you and let you know that there's really not much you can do about it because Microsoft doesn't give you the option. But it can be dealt with and it can be fixed. So my second topic for tonight, this was a really interesting job. I have for a client a bagel shop here in Vancouver, and they're on a monthly contract. They pay me so much per month, and I maintain all their computers. So in the past couple of weeks, they have had some issues with their computer in the production office and it communicating with their label printers. So they're a wholesale bakery, and they make tons of bagels and pizza skins and breads and sell them to all sorts of restaurants in Vancouver and Portland. Fabulous place. Really, really good product, wonderful owners. And so the labels they print go on each of the packages. It contains, of course, the name of whatever it is, plus the ingredient list. Pretty important to have those labels on there. And the label printer just was not communicating with the computer. And it got to the point where if they booted the computer 4 or 5 times, all of a sudden the label printer would start to work. And I had been out there last week, reinstalled the printer driver, everything was working great. And then yesterday they informed me that it wasn't working again. And I thought, what the heck is going on here? So I thought, I could easily come out and reinstall the driver again, or I could do it remotely. But the printer was offline. I actually tried to do it remotely last night, and the printer was offline. So they actually had to restart the printer for me. And so I actually was in that part of town this morning, so I stopped by, left the house early, stopped by, and I thought, okay, probably what's going on here is it's a bakery shop. They're dealing with a lot of flour ingredients, and there's flour dust everywhere. So I got myself a fresh can of compressed air. I turned off the computer, disconnected it, took it outside, and just blew the heck out of it with compressed air. And especially the USB ports, my thought process was, I'll bet you anything that there's a lot of flour dust that's gotten itself embedded into the USB ports, and it is preventing communication between the computer and the printer. It's not like this was a cheap printer. These label printers are very high-tech, very expensive, very heavy-duty, good quality printers. So I'm sure it wasn't a printer issue. So anyway, I did that this morning and got the label printer running again. Time will only tell to see if that will resolve the issue. But I think the point of my telling you this story, besides the fact that it was a highly unusual technology story, was the fact that even if you don't have a computer full of flour dust, it's really important to keep the insides of your computers clean. If you have a tower computer, they're usually sitting on the floor underneath your desk, and dust is swirling around, and the air vents, the little fans, the CPU, the central processing unit, can get clogged with dust. Computers are a dust magnet. So it's really important that you shut that computer off once a year. And I usually take the side panel off on the computer. Most manufacturers make it really easy for you to do that these days. Not like the old days where it was like breaking into Fort Knox to get inside the computer. But, and get a can of compressed air. This is compressed air. And it has just a little straw that goes here in the hole, and you just kind of spray it, and it will clean all the dust out of your computer. And make sure you get all the vents, make sure you get all around the motherboard, all around the hard drive, all around the power supply, anywhere where there's a lot of little tiny holes and vents. You want to make sure that you get all that dust blown out, because it will choke your computer and it will shorten the life of your computer. So really important to do that about once a year. So what's next? What's next? Okay, so next on my list. Oh, okay. So I bought a new iPhone 7 when they came out in what, second, third week of September. I really see no difference between the iPhone 7 and the 6S that I had previously. There's new technology in it. There's a faster chip, there's a better camera, you know, all sorts of stuff inside that make this better than before. Of course, this is the phone that does not have the headphone jack. So there's two speaker vents here. Of course, this one is where the headphone used to be, and it looks like a speaker vent, but it's actually not a speaker at all. Somebody tore apart an iPhone and discovered that this is just covered with plastic, and this is your speaker vent here. But it has the regular lightning port here, and your headphones now have the lightning connector instead of the regular speaker jack. But anyway, once I got this iPhone 7, I noticed a rash of dropped calls, and it was really, really getting to be annoying to me. I could be sitting at my desk because this is the phone I use for my business. I don't have a fancy phone system, a PBX system. I don't have the phone with all the buttons and the hold music and all that sort of stuff. I use my iPhone. That's what I use. And up until when I got this iPhone, it worked great. But this iPhone, I could be sitting on a phone call talking to a client. I've got my headset on, and all of a sudden, I can hear them, but they couldn't hear me. And I'd have to hang up and call back. And I can be on a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation, and I would have to hang up the phone 3 or 4 times and call it back. And not only was it annoying for me, it was highly, highly annoying for my clients. They weren't sure whether it was them or me, and I apologized profusely. And finally, one day after I had finished a conversation with a client where I had to call her back 4 times, I finally said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to the AT&T store, and I'm either going to have them take this phone back or replace it, but it needs to be fixed because I can't run a business this way. So it was really interesting because I thought, okay, they can take it back, but what am I going to do? My iPhone 6S I had already sold, so I didn't have that anymore. And I've got a couple of other iPhones here. I think I've got a 5S and maybe a 4S. I could have reverted back to them, but, you know, I had bought a new iPhone 7, and I really like to be running on the latest technology. So I walked into the iPhone, or the AT&T store, and of course, they're very attentive. Clerk walked up to me and said, hey, what can I do for you? He was probably 12 years old. So I explained to him the situation, and he said, oh, no problem. So he just kind of, went into the settings, and I think he went into, let's see, I think it was the Wi-Fi assist. I'm not sure exactly where it is. It might be in the cellular, let's see, Wi-Fi assist, or it might be in the phone. Let me look here real quick. In the phone settings, I can't see it off the top of my head, and I didn't put it in my notes. But anyway, he turned off this setting, and he said, that will fix you right up. And I remember standing there thinking, oh, really? It's just a setting, and I've been putting up with this for 2 weeks now? So I went back to my office, and I started making phone calls, and this was probably 2 weeks ago that I did this, and I have not had a single dropped call ever since. So I basically said to the guy, the 12-year-old at the AT&T store, I said, well, if this will fix it, you need to make sure that about that. When you sell the iPhone 7 to your various customers, you let them know about that option. Apparently it came out in maybe iOS 9, and it has to do with the hardware, and AT&T has had this for a while, but Verizon has just gotten it. I'm not quite sure of the details, but anyway, my life has now been stress-free in terms of my iPhone ever since then. So so topic number 4, Mac OS Sierra. So Apple came out with a brand new operating system I don't know, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, as they do every fall. It was probably somewhere around the beginning of October. I had not updated my MacBook. Not because I didn't want to update, but because I basically didn't have time. And I actually updated it this afternoon. So Mac OS Sierra. So one of the things they did with this update was, it used to be the operating system on the Apple products was called, or the Mac products was called OS X. And with this particular version, they changed the name from OS X to Mac OS to kind of make their entire product line similar. Mac OS, iOS, Watch OS, whatever else OS they have. So I finally upgraded this afternoon. I really hadn't had time previously, and I found myself with a little bit of time today. So I went ahead and did the update. And so I think, you know, I have found that with operating system updates, I have found this with Windows, I have found this with Mac OS, I have found it with iOS for the Apple phones, and I'm really not an Android person, so I'm not sure about those. But I found that, you know, every year they have a major update, and there's always a lot of hyped features, and the hyped features never turn out to be as fabulous as they're hyped out to be. So anyway, so I did the update today, and one of the, well, but from what I found, because I really didn't know much about what was in it, but in my research that I did today, what I did find was that a lot of the features and functionality that you will find in iOS, which is for the iPhone or the iPad, are now being migrated into the Mac world. So Siri is now available in Mac OS, and one of the, I'll go over some of the updates for that, for Siri, and why you might want Siri on your Mac OS. But it basically, they're kind of touting it as being a really good multitasking tool. So one of the examples they gave was, okay, you're working away on a document on your Mac, and you're putting the finishing touches on it, and you might want to let one of your colleagues know that, hey, I'm going to email this to you in a few minutes, watch out for it. So while you're typing, you could say, hey Siri, you know, let John know that I'm about to email him this document. Okay, so anyway, that's a multitasking thing. You can be typing and talking to Siri at the same time and having her do things for you. Kind of cool, although I have found, I haven't even turned Siri on my iPhone 7. On my 6S, the one time, the instances in which I would use Siri would be while I was driving. And I would find that Siri half the time didn't understand me and gave me bad results. And so I really stopped using Siri on my iPhone 6S. And like I said, I haven't even turned her on here. So I'm sure if I put my mind to it, I can find a lot of things that Siri could do for me. But I haven't gone there yet. So probably a huge productivity tool that I could be using that I'm not. So anyway, you can apparently, with Siri on the Mac, you can pin all sorts of results from Siri searches into your notification center. You can, you know, like they said, you could pin your favorite sports team results. All files related to a particular project can be pinned in there, make it really easy for you to find things. You can have Siri go out and search the internet for maybe certain types of photos that you might want to be putting into a document. And once Siri comes up with the results, you just drag and drop the photos onto the documents. Kind of cool. If I really had time to play with it, I would. But with the nature of my business, I don't have a whole lot of time to play with the technology. my days are basically filled with fixing the technology. And I have so many different types of issues that are thrown at me every day that all of my brain power is spent coming up with solutions to all the problems that are thrown my way, that I don't have time to really play with the technology, which is kind of a shame. I wish I did. So anyway, let's see, they have a universal clipboard, Siri does. Well, no, not Siri, but the Mac. So they have a universal clipboard where you can put something on your clipboard and it automatically shows up on either your iPad or your iPhone. So you can kind of share that between devices. Let's see, an example of that, maybe you're looking for a recipe. So you're browsing the internet for a recipe, and you can immediately copy and paste those ingredients right into a note on your iPhone, so you can go shopping with it. Okay. Of course, handoff, start something on one device, start a document on one device, and hand it off to another. So now you can start a document on your Mac and hand it off to your iPad. That has been a feature that's been on the iOS platform, your iPad and iPhone, for a year now. But now it's on the Mac. So the whole point of this upgrade, I think, was to get the Mac caught up with the iOS devices, which has usually been the case. Oh, you can now auto unlock your Mac with your Apple Watch, which I don't have. I refuse to buy an Apple Watch. I don't need another Apple product. I don't need to be kind of tied into upgrading a fourth Apple product. I've got my MacBook Air, I've got my iPhone and my iPad. I don't need a fourth device that I have to go on the upgrade wheel and play with. And I can't imagine paying $350 base, $350 for a watch when I haven't used a watch in years. So anyway, someday I might find the point, but not right now. Oh, and Apple Pay is now available for the web, which is really kind of cool. I have not dived into Apple Pay yet. Boy, I haven't dove into a lot of things, have I? Mainly because the bank I bank with, it's a small town bank here in Vancouver, Washington, and Apple Pay is not available for my debit cards. So anyway, so now it's available for the web. So that was topic number 4. I have a 5th topic for you. So topic number 5, iCloud. So let's just talk about iCloud for a minute. iCloud for your iOS device. I use it on my iPhone. I have it on my MacBook. I have it on my iPad. And iCloud is like a Dropbox. It allows you to share your data between devices. I take a photo on my iPhone. It goes up into my iCloud account. It then appears on my MacBook, and it appears on my iPad. So iCloud, Apple gives you 5 gigabytes of iCloud storage for free. 5 gigabytes back in the day was a lot of storage, but not anymore. You can upgrade that to 50 gigs for 99 cents a month, not much, or 200 gigs for $2.99 per month. I have the 200 gig plan. So based on that and the fact that your iCloud, photos especially, sync from one device to another, meaning take a photo here, goes onto your MacBook, goes onto your iPad, and it goes up into your iCloud account, the more photos you take, the more storage you need. I also have a lot of videos on my phone, and so I am finding that I am using a lot of storage. So a lot of clients get confused about the difference between the amount of storage on their phone and their amount of iCloud storage. So I thought maybe I would kind of show you my screen here. Let me just set this up for you real quick. Where do I want to go here? I think I'm going to go into settings, and I'm actually going to show you the phone here. So be patient with me. Storage and iCloud usage. Okay, so now I'm going to go to share screen, iPhone. share screen, AirPlay. So let's see, AirPlay, Zoom. All right, so I am showing you the settings of my iPhone. Let's swipe down on that. So I'll just show you. I had gone into settings, then I had gone into general, and then storage and iCloud usage. So this is my new iPhone 7, 256 gigabytes of internal storage, which is humongous. So this top section up here where it says storage, I have used 144.5 gigabytes of internal storage on my iPhone. What the hell? What is using all that storage? Well, I can tell you it's pretty much my photos and my videos. I still have 104.11 gigabytes of available storage. I can go here into manage storage, and it will come back and tell me what's taking all the storage. So photos and camera, 84.5 gigs. What the heck? What am I doing here? And then iMovie, 31.5 gigs. Well, I know exactly what that is. I took several videos at a seminar a few weeks ago, and most of that are those videos, which as soon as I'm finished editing those in iMovie, those will be deleted. Dropbox, almost 10 gigs. And then podcasts, and of course it shows by amount of storage being used. So pretty soon most of that will go away in the photo library. So let me go back here. So that top section where it says storage, that is the storage on my phone. The bottom section is my iCloud storage. That is the amount of storage that I purchased, which is 200 gigabytes, and how much I have available. So when you get a notification on your phone that your iCloud storage is almost full and you have to buy more, that's the section they're talking about. They're not telling you that you're almost out of room on your phone. It's just your iCloud storage. So if I go here into manage my storage, I can see, okay, my photo library, 111 gigs, cool number. And then I have my backups. Your iOS devices are backed up into iCloud. So I have this iPhone, 32.5 gigs. I have my iPad, which is not backing up a whole lot at all. And then I've got my iPhone 5, which is backing up next to nothing because it's my personal cell phone number and I really have nothing on that phone. I use it for a phone. So just so you know, that's the difference between the two. So I kind of just wanted to point that out to you. And as you can see, I have a lot of cleanup to do on my phone in terms of my photos. I've got like 13,000 photos plus I don't know how many videos. Anyway, I take a lot of photos, and a lot of those photos have to do with jobs that I'm on. If I'm working on a computer and I need to get a photo of the serial number of the computer, I'll photo it with my phone. I'll pinch it on the screen to view the serial number, and I've become really lax in how I go back and clean that up. So anyway, that is what I wanted to tell you about in terms of iCloud. So I am going to stop sharing this screen, and we're going to go back to our regular screen. Hey. So that is the difference. Storage on your phone versus your iCloud storage. So if you get that message saying you're almost out of iCloud storage and you need to upgrade, take a look first at your photos and your videos and see if there's any way you can clean that up before you actually purchase more storage. And if you're like me, where you don't have time to clean it up, you just keep going out and buying newer and bigger phones with more storage. So anyway, yeah, I could probably save a lot of money if I kept that cleaned up. But anyway, so that was my fifth topic. That was really all I had to share with you guys tonight. And what I want to say is I really love doing those shows. Oh, okay, topic number 6. I like. Vote. I have gotten my ballot all filled out, ready to mail tomorrow. Elections are on November 8th, and this is a really, really important election. I'm not going to make this a political discussion, other than say, please fill out your ballots. If you're registered to vote, fill out your ballots and vote. So anyway, that's my civic duty. And so our next show is 2 weeks from tonight on November 10th. Have no clue what the topic will be. It will be presented to me sometime in the next 2 weeks. And I just want to thank all of you who either watch live, which I have a whole lot more viewers who watch the tape version of this show than live. And but I'm grateful to you all. Thank you so much for listening in and watching. And I get a lot of feedback after the shows. Within the next week or two, I'll get a lot of feedback from customers, and they'll say, hey, I watched this show, I learned a lot from you, and thanks for the tips. And so I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually impart this information onto you. So I also want to say thank you very much to Kelly Lair at New 72 Media. Fabulous company, fabulous producer, and the show would not be possible without Kelly and New 72 Media. So thank you very much, and I will see you again all in 2 weeks. Have a great 2 weeks. Bye.